A day in the life of a pleasure servant in ancient Egypt was nothing like luxury. It was control, silence, and survival. From the moment you wake, every choice is made for you, and every mistake could cost you everything. The first sound is not birds or music. It's footsteps, heavy, deliberate, and coming to wake you. Before you even open your eyes, you know your body doesn't belong to you. A basin of cold water waits. Rough cloth scrubs your skin raw. Oils coat your arms, powdered flowers dust your chest. It's not for your comfort, it's a display. Your body is treated less like a person, more like furniture being polished for use. And here's the cruel irony, they call this preparation care. But tell me, does it sound like care to you, or does it sound more like packaging? You're led into the master's house where rules are as sharp as blades, speak only when spoken to, eat only if given food, and if you're seen too much, that alone could be a problem. The mistress of the house watches with eyes colder than marble. She doesn't need to say anything, you can feel the threat in the silence. One wrong glance and your entire position crumbles. This is the invisible war inside the household, and the most dangerous battlefield, not between armies, but between women trapped in different prisons. The master appears, wrapped in linen that smells faintly of resin and papyrus. He doesn't shout, he doesn't even need to. A look is enough. When he gestures, you move. When he lingers, you know why. And when he finally touches your arm during a prayer, it feels less like affection and more like ownership stamped into your skin. But here's where it gets unsettling. He doesn't see you as powerless. No, he convinces himself that what he's doing is sacred. The gods are pleased, he whispers after. Which gods exactly? You wonder, because you're not convinced any of them asked for this. At banquets, the mistress pretends you don't exist. You glide between nobles, refilling golden cups with wine, arranging trays of figs and dates, always silent, always careful. Yet invisibility is never real. Her eyes follow every step. Her silence may appear composed, but her whitened knuckles betray the rage she swallows. She cannot confront her husband. Tradition denies her that power. Instead, she waits for you to falter, because your smallest mistake will be her victory. And everyone notices. The other servants watch with sharpened eyes. Some pity you, whispering small warnings when they see the mistress's gaze linger too long. Others envy what they misinterpret as privilege, your proximity to the master. That's the cruelest twist. Your suffering looks like influence. In a household where even nobles played politics, you became both scapegoat and target. Tell me, what would you do trapped in a game you never asked to play? By 18, you've perfected the art of smiling without a trace of joy. Every glance, every gesture is calculated, rehearsed like lines in a play you never auditioned for. You drift through corridors perfumed and polished, yet no one is meant to truly see you. Survival has shifted from food and shelter to performance itself. Each day is a stage, and your role is silence wrapped in obedience. To endure, your mind learns to fracture. One half obeys without hesitation, the other clings to fragments of who you once were. Modern psychology would call this dissociation, a survival mechanism found in trauma victims. Without it, the constant weight of humiliation and fear would crush you. With it, you can keep walking even as every step feels borrowed. Then one morning, the rhythm of your life shatters. Nausea creeps in, trays slip from your hands, and the housemaid's knowing palm presses gently against your belly. "This could save you," she whispers, and though the words confuse you, they carry a dangerous kind of hope. In a society where pleasure servants were often discarded when they lost their novelty, pregnancy rewrote the rules. What once made you vulnerable, your body, now shields you. The swelling of your stomach shifts your status overnight. You are no longer a toy, you are the vessel of an heir. The master beams, declaring the child his triumph. "You'll name it after me," he insists, as if it were destiny. Your chains remain, but they now glitter with fragile power. The child arrives, a boy whose first cry echoes so loudly it feels as if the walls themselves tremble. His lungs are strong, his skin warm against yours, and in that moment he is both salvation and sentence. You cradle him close, knowing he shields you from the mistress's wrath, yet also binds you tighter to the master's household. In ancient Egypt, the birth of a son was no small thing. It meant lineage, legitimacy, pride. For you, it means temporary protection, but also terrifying vulnerability. Every choice from his food to his future lies in the hands of others. At night, rocking him to sleep, you whisper fragile promises. You'll be free, you'll laugh, you'll belong. But deep down, a question lingers. Do you dare believe it? The mistress sharpens her cruelty with every passing year. One shattered vase, one laugh that dares to rise above a whisper, and her hand flies upward, ready to strike your son. In that frozen moment, it is not love that protects him, but the steward's cold voice reminding her of the master's claim. Your child is spared, but not by mercy, only by politics. And the lesson is carved deep. Your safety and his exist only at the mercy of others. Yet each time you shield him, each time you absorb her venom in silence, the bond between you and your boy grows unbreakable. Picture it. A child licking honey from silver plates while his mother kneels to scrub the linens of her rival. Hypocrisy has rarely been so cruelly staged. The master announces his decision with casual authority. Your son will be sent to school. On the surface, it is a gift. In ancient Egypt, education was reserved for the privileged. Scribes, officials, the children of nobles. To be taught to read and write meant access to power, to the machinery of the state itself. You should celebrate. Countless others would envy this opportunity, yet your heart twists because exposure cuts both ways. Teachers, scribes, classmates, each set of eyes could see what he truly is, the son of a servant whose status rests on fragile recognition. One rumor could undo everything. You tremble, not from terror, but from something far more dangerous. Hope. Because hope in your world is always a gamble with teeth. Years slip away like sand through an open palm. Your son grows taller, his voice steady as he recites texts to the master, each word carrying the weight of education once denied to so many. He dresses in saffron-dyed linen, sleeps beneath amulets carved to ward off spirits, and eats like he belongs among nobles. Yet when his gaze falls on you, all the layers of privilege fade, and you see the softness of a boy who still knows you as mother before anything else. And then something shifts. The household begins to treat you differently, not with pity, not with scorn, but with something colder. Fear. Fear of a woman who endured storms that swallowed countless others, and somehow emerged unbroken. One morning, the rhythm of the household breaks. The master is found cold on the stone floor, his silence echoing louder than his commands ever did. The estate erupts in ritual mourning, wailing women, incense burning, priests chanting, but beneath the noise lies something far more significant. For you, his death is not just an end, it is a beginning. Egyptian law held a rare provision. A slave who bore a recognized child could claim freedom upon the master's passing. When the steward arrives, his tone is flat, but his words slice through decades of silence. You are no longer owned. After years of kneeling, of swallowing every breath, you finally exhale. Chains don't clatter to the ground, they dissolve. For the first time, you belong to yourself. At 34, the world feels almost unfamiliar. In the market, men who once passed without a glance now bow their heads, acknowledging not just your son's status, but your own transformation. At night, you close a door that locks from the inside, a luxury more powerful than gold. You choose when to rise, when to eat, when to breathe without permission. Yet freedom is not only about the present. One evening, you open a small wooden box. Inside it, the bracelet your mother pressed into your palm before you were sold. The etchings are worn, but her hope still lingers in every faded line. She had prayed life might still hold something beyond chains. Against all odds, her dream has become your reality. So what does a day in the life of a pleasure servant really mean? It's not just rituals or rules or survival, it's a lifetime of chains that slowly, painfully transform into freedom. And maybe the biggest irony is this: freedom didn't arrive in a single day. It took decades of silence, suffering, and resilience to finally taste it. But tell me, if you had lived this life, would freedom feel like enough? Or would you still hear the echo of every day spent as someone else's possession? Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.